Hello friends and viewers, and welcome to my Tristan character guide. If you are here for a quick reference, I've created a pocket guide for the beginning of the video. Without further ado, my introduction. My name is James, I'm a global player and I started playing Sword of Convallaria in September 2024. I'm a longtime strategy and turn-based RPG fan with the Fire Emblem series, Tactics Ogre, and Unicorn Overlord as some recent titles I enjoy. I'm a PvE focused player in Sword of Convallaria. I have no interest or knowledge of PvP. As a global player, I lack the technical knowledge and exposure to the Taiwan and China scenes. As a result, I'm subject to feedback and I'm open to being wrong. If you come across conflicting information to other guides and creators, then there are absolutely multiple ways to play a character. Play your way. As a fun fact about myself, I am a Thai tea boba enjoyer. Tristan's trait is Crimson Fury. Passively, this trait allows her to deal increased damage to enemies with shields, performs AoE damage as magical damage, and possess the Crimson Fury active skill which can be used once per battle. Crimson Fury, the active skill, is an additional button on her action bar. It will sacrifice 90% of her current HP and deal 50% damage to all enemies within 2 tiles of her. She can act again and enters the Berserk state. In the Berserk state, she gains toughness, immunity to disruption debuffs, and immunity to piercing damage. It also increases her damage by 25% and reduces healing received by 80%. It increases her crit and crit damage as well and lasts 2 to 4 turns depending on star level. Activating this ability will also reset her skill cooldowns and recover her energy to full. As such, this is best used mid-battle to best capitalize on the cooldown reset and energy recovery. This will also reset the cooldown of trinkets with instant effects such as Flying Blade Armguard and Roaring Flint. Tristan's initial skill is Explosive Luxite-Dust. This deals AoE magic damage to all enemies within 2 tiles of the enemy target, inflicting 1 random level 2 attribute debuff. Recall that Tristan's trait converts AoE damage from physical to magical. At rank 1, I recommend Furious Pursuit. Furious Pursuit is Tristan's best energy spender for single target damage, dealing a potential cumulative total of 180% damage. Note the Pursuit effect sacrifices 20% of current HP to do more damage. Knockback Pursuit deals less damage than Furious Pursuit and costs more energy. If you select this, you would primarily use it only for the knockback utility. At rank 3, I recommend Fervent Lunge with the Castalia for Blazing Blood. Fervent Lunge and its follow-up Fervent Headbutt is a combo skill comprised of 2 instant abilities. Fervent Lunge requires a target location to charge and grants Tristan a damage 2 buff for 1 turn. Fervent Headbutt requires a target enemy to charge and knock them back. Tristan has a base movement of 3 tiles, so this skill helps her mobility. Recall these are both instant skills, so you can cast both in a single turn. Just be mindful of positioning to follow up with damage after Fervent Headbutt's knockback. Blazing Blood allows Tristan to benefit from magic attack to increase her damage. With toughness during Berserk state, using Blazing Blood means Tristan deals more damage the less health she has. You should still prioritize physical attack for damage, but magical attack rolls from Engravings and Tarots will add throughput value. At rank 5, I recommend Street Style. Street Style is melee damage mitigation and further reduces damage taken from preempts and strikebacks while following up with additional damage herself. Defense ranged attack is range damage mitigation. Range damage ordinarily comes from Watchers, her counter, Destroyers, and some Breakers. Both are strong at mitigating damage in their own situations. However, with unlimited resolve during Crimson Fury, damage taken matters less, and Street Style will passively net more damage. It is also completely valid to invest a Castalia for the total attack stat gains. At rank 7, I recommend One Punch Burial with a potential Castalia for controlled demolition. One Punch Burial is Tristan's ultimate skill, initiating with minor single target damage and a knockback, then following up with AoE magic damage. When not in Berserk state, this ability teleports Tristan to the closest ally within 4 tiles, allowing her to reposition. Being proactive with positioning will be somewhat important with this skill. Controlled Demolition is mechanically similar to a preparation skill. It first inflicts a debuff on an enemy, then triggers an explosion at the start of Tristan's next turn or when the enemy dies. Consider using an external Act Again or speed buff on Tristan to trigger the explosion sooner. These two skills execute different types of damage, magic AoE versus piercing AoE. Either can be used in different mutation situations, or consider investing a Castalia to use both at the same time to set up burst AoE damage. At rank 9, I recommend Fatal Attack. Tristan's trait buffs her crit and crit damage, so adding Fatal Attack will make her basic attacks even more potent. At rank 11, I recommend Family. Family adds group utility and group buffs, but there is some risk associated to be mindful of. When Tristan is healthy, with unlimited resolve and toughness, Tristan can be built to tank some damage, and with Blazing Blood, she also deals more damage the less health she has. When Tristan is dying, while this skill may save Tristan from death, the same cannot be said for the character who performs assisting cover. If Tristan is dying with this skill, you will need to be mindful of unit position and who is in proximity of Tristan. Compared to Explosive Luxite-Dust with her initial skill, Destructive Storm covers a larger radius and inflicts an additional debuff, but deals less damage, has higher energy cost, and a cooldown. Both skills are unlikely to be part of Tristan's regular skill loadout. However, long term, it's reasonable to use a Castalia for the attack stat gains. For some build options, this build focuses on single target damage with Furious Pursuit as the core energy spender. Tristan will only deal physical damage in this setup. This build focuses on AoE magic damage, prioritizing One Punch Burial as the core energy spender. Your flexible choice can vary depending on situation. Fervent Lunge for additional mobility, Controlled Demolition for additional AoE damage if you invested a Castalia at rank 7, or Explosive Luxite-Dust otherwise if you did not learn Controlled Demolition. Finally, this build focuses on support via Family and assumes Tristan will play in close proximity to allies. Your flexible skill slot should be an appropriate energy spender depending on situation, such as Furious Pursuit, One Punch Burial, Controlled Demolition, or Explosive Luxite-Dust. For weapons, some options include Brutal Axe, Gale Sword, and Tuning Hammer. With Tristan sacrificing 90% of lost HP upon casting Crimson Fury, she can easily ignore defense with Brutal Axe. If playing Tristan with Verdict of Justice or any external crit buffs, consider Gale Sword. Tristan can trigger the crit damage with Fervent Lunge or an instant cast trinket, such as Flying Blade Arm Guard and Roaring Flint. If neither of these options, Tuning Hammer is a viable option for the physical attack increase and dispel utility. For trinkets, some options include Blood Luxite Amulet, Flying Blade Arm Guard, Roaring Flint, and Origin Hourglass. In the current character roster, Tristan can best use Blood Luxite Amulet. As she deals more damage the less HP she has, she will have the most mileage from this trinket. However, keep in mind that Tristan only deals magic damage when she casts AoE abilities. In single target scenarios, substitute for another trinket. Flying Blade Arm Guard and Roaring Flint are always good options to inflict more damage. If Tristan casts Crimson Fury will reset the cooldown of Flying Blade Arm Guard and Roaring Flint and any other gear skill trinkets with cooldowns. Try to prefer Flying Blade Arm Guard for single target. If you have none of these options, Origin Hourglass is a viable option for both the physical and magic attack increases. Not pictured here is Maverick's Cloak. Maverick's Cloak is a strong niche option provided Tristan can sustain high uptime on the attack and defense increases. It's reasonable to play her away from allies during Crimson Fury, but you have to be mindful and strategic with her play outside of Crimson Fury as well. For Taros, some options include Dream of the Magician, Verdict of Justice, and Temptation of the Devil. Dream of the Magician is the best overall option to increase Tristan's AoE damage. Verdict of Justice is another good option for the crit and crit damage increases. You may prefer this for single target scenarios. On any maps with high target count, between allies, enemies, summons, and NPCs, it's always reasonable to consider Temptation of the Devil as well. For engravings, Sword and Wand is the best general use resonance for the attack and defense bonuses. Using Tristan with Fervent Lunge will also make it easier to maximize the stat gains. To provide some composition and usage tips, regardless of Tristan's own mobility via Fervent Lunge, she still has a base move of 3 tiles. External movement buffs won't hurt to make her more mobile on the battlefield, so consider supporting her with Homa or Gloria. Tristan will excel in burst damage via Crimson Fury. Part of the expertise and strategy of deploying Tristan is having her deep dive in enemies and optimizing Crimson Fury uptime, but also being proactive and recognizing when to pull her back from danger. Recall that her single target attacks deal physical damage, which will do more damage on enemies with physical defense debuffs. On the other hand, her AoE attacks deal magic damage, which will do more damage on enemies with magic defense debuffs. With Fervent Lunge and Fervent Headbutt, equipped with Flying Blade Arm Guard, then following up with a Crimson Fury cast to reset cooldowns, Tristan can cast up to 6 instant single target attacks in one round. This makes her a strong pairing with Homa for single target damage, as this translates up to 6 Balor strikes via instant attacks, not even considering a final non-instant attack to end her turn. When using Controlled Demolition, treat it like a preparation skill. As such, casting Tristan with an Act Again or speed buff will help her fire off the damage sooner, so consider supporting her with Inanna or any allies equipped with external speed buffs. Tristan is part of the Night Crimson, Union, and Aggression categories. While we do not yet have a unique Night Crimson leader's aura with her release, consider pairing her with Gloria and or Nona Will for their leader's auras. For external category buffs, we have Gloria's Vow of Justice. This is a great aura to offer Tristan to increase her damage done and mitigate some damage taken from strikebacks. This pairs nicely with Street Style. We also have Nona Will's Aggression, which is another great aura to increase Tristan's skill damage. Simona and Flare provide a Union leader's aura, but I deeply recommend using Gloria or Nona Will's auras if possible. Lastly, Tristan as a Union unit will benefit from Knight's Glory. If you are rostering any of these units, consider targeting Tristan with Knight's Glory to boost her attack. Hello again, friends and viewers. I'm excited to announce this channel is now part of the YouTube Partner Program. I'm so proud of this accomplishment, and I hope I can continue to share more features and updates with you in Sword of Convallaria and beyond. If you go to my channel homepage, you should now see a Join button next to the subscribe button to become a YouTube member. At the $4.99 rare tier, I currently offer loyalty badges, custom emojis, and member shoutouts in future guide videos. At the $6.99 epic tier, you receive all the rare tier perks, as well as access to a Google Drive link that includes PDF copies of all current and future guide content. Thank you all so much for your time, subscribing, and watching my channel. Your time is the most valuable asset anyone can ever ask for, and I hope for your continued support on this journey. Last but not least, I want to credit and shout out these resources that helped me put this guide together. Voyage Memento for their character build samples and reference links, the Sword of Convallaria No Potion fan site for skill images and skill descriptions, the Sword of Convallaria Cloud Drop wiki for skill filtering and gear images, and the Billy Game and Game Key Chinese sites for character art assets. I highly recommend visiting these links to build your Sword of Convallaria knowledge. Thank you so much for watching this character guide, and I will see you in the next one. This concludes my character guide. As mentioned in my disclaimer, I welcome feedback and I'm open to being wrong. I'm still learning and improving just like you are. Once again, if you find conflicting information to other guides or content creators, then that means there are multiple ways to build a character and still achieve success. If you have any feedback for me, please feel welcome to comment below. I also have my various social media platforms on this slide here.